Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to talk about your day in English, but you didn't know where to start? You know, morning, lunch, evening, bedtime, simple things. But when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. You know the words in your language, but in English, nothing comes out. It's frustrating, right? You might think, I can say hello and goodbye, but I can't say what I do every day. Don't worry, you are not alone. Many of my students have the same problem. And the truth is, it's not your fault. Nobody teaches you how to talk about your life in a real and natural way. But that's exactly what we're going to do today. In this video, I'm going to show you, step by step, how to talk about your daily routine in English, easily and naturally, like native speakers do. You don't need to know hundreds of words. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to start small and build your story, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be able to describe your whole day in English, even if you are a complete beginner. And not just describe it. You'll understand it, speak it, and feel good about it. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Why daily routines matter in English learning. Let me tell you something honest. When people ask me, how can I start speaking English? I don't say, learn 500 new words. I don't say, study grammar books. I say, start with your day. Why? Because your daily routine is your life. It's the part of English that you can use right now, today. You don't need to wait. You don't need to imagine a job interview or a travel conversation. Just think about your day, what you do from morning to night. If you can talk about your daily routine in English, you already have something powerful. You have something real. Think about it like this. If you learn to say, I wake up at 7, I brush my teeth, I go to work, I come home at 6, that's already 10 or 15 useful sentences. And you're not just learning random sentences, you're learning words you can use every single day. These are not textbook examples. These are your real actions, your real schedule, your real world. When language is connected to your life, it stays in your memory. It's stronger, and it grows faster. I had a student once named Fatima. She was from Morocco, and when she joined my beginner class, she was very shy. She spoke only a few words. But I gave her a simple task. Every morning, write 5 sentences in English about your routine. That's all. No grammar rules, no pressure, just, I wake up, I make tea, I go to work. At first, she used a dictionary. She made mistakes. But she kept writing. Every day she wrote about her life, in English. After 3 weeks, she came to class with a list. She had learned more than 30 new verbs just by doing that. And she remembered them too. Not because she studied them, but because she used them. She connected the words to her real actions. This is why daily routines are so important for English learners. They are simple, yes, but they are also deep. When you describe your routine, you are practicing so many things at once: verbs, time words, grammar patterns, pronunciation. You are also learning how to tell a story. And the best part is, it's your story. You don't need to remember a fake dialogue. You don't need to imagine a tourist in London asking for directions. You just talk about your day. And here's something even more interesting. When students can talk about their routines, they start to feel more confident. It's like building a small house. At first, you lay a few bricks. Wake up, eat breakfast, go to work. Then you add a window. I usually take the bus. Then you paint the walls. I don't like mornings. Soon, you're building conversations with these pieces. You're not just learning words, you're learning how to live in the language. So yes, daily routines may seem simple, but they are the best starting point for real English. If you can describe your routine, you can build the habit of speaking. You can practice every day without a teacher, without a classroom. You can do it in your head while brushing your teeth. You can say it out loud while walking to school. And every time you do it, your English gets a little better. I always tell my students, if you can speak about your day, you can speak about anything. It's the foundation. It's where everything begins. So in the next chapters, we'll go step by step through the day, morning, work, lunch, evening, night. I'll give you real examples, small tips, and natural sentences. And if you stay with me, you'll be able to talk about your full day, clearly, easily, and with confidence. Because when you learn to describe your routine, you don't just learn English, you start using English. And that's the difference. That's when you stop being a student and start being a speaker. Chapter 2. The morning, wake up, wash up, get ready. Let's begin your day in English. The morning is the first part of your daily routine. And guess what? It's also the best place to start learning how to talk about your life. Why? Because mornings are full of small, simple actions, and every action is a sentence. So, today, we begin with waking up, washing up, and getting ready. Let's start easy. Repeat after me. I wake up at 7 a.m. That's it. Simple. Real. Now, maybe you wake up at 6, or maybe 8:30. You can change the number. I wake up at 6. I wake up at 8:30. You can also add words to make it sound more natural. I usually wake up at 7. I always wake up early. I sometimes wake up late. Do you see how just one small sentence can grow? And now, let's change the subject. This is how we learn grammar without studying grammar. Watch this. She wakes up at 6. He wakes up early. They wake up late on weekends. When you say these out loud, you're not just learning one sentence. You're learning the structure of English. You're learning how it works. And you're doing it without grammar books, without memorizing rules. Let's keep going. After waking up, most people brush their teeth. So you say, I brush my teeth. Easy. But what if you want to say it in the evening? Same structure. I brush my teeth before bed. What if you're talking about someone else? He brushes his teeth in the morning. She brushes her teeth after breakfast. Again, we're learning naturally, just by changing small pieces. Now here's something fun. Let's talk about real life. Because not everybody jumps out of bed right away, right? Some people hit the snooze button. That means they press the button on the alarm to sleep a little more. How do you say that in English? You say, I hit snooze, or I hit snooze 3 times. It's a small detail, but it makes your English feel more real. It makes you sound like a person, not a textbook. Another common sentence, I get out of bed slowly. That's real too. You don't have to say, I jump out of bed with energy, because let's be honest, most of us don't. You can say, I stay in bed for 5 minutes, or I check my phone before I get up. These are true things, and when you talk about true things, the words stay with you. Next, you probably go to the bathroom. You can say, I wash my face. I take a shower. I dry my hair. Again, simple verbs, simple grammar. I take a shower every morning. He takes a cold shower. They take a shower before school. Just by changing the subject and the time, you can make many useful sentences, and you don't have to memorize them. Just use them. Say them out loud while you do them. That's how language becomes part of you. I had a student named Ali. He was learning English and working full-time. He didn't have time to study grammar rules. But I gave him one small job. Every morning, say your routine out loud, in English, while you do it. I wake up. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I drink tea. At first, it was just 10 words. After 1 month, it was 50. After 3 months, he could describe his whole day in detail, naturally. And all he did was talk to himself in English in the morning. That's the power of routine. And it's also the power of repetition. Every sentence you say helps you build the next one. So if you say, I wake up, you can also say, I wake up at 7. Then, I usually wake up at 7, but today I woke up late. That's how fluency starts. Not with long words, not with perfect grammar, but with small pieces that grow like blocks in a tower. And here's something else. When you describe your morning every day in English, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're building a habit. You're training your brain to think in English. Even 5 minutes in the morning can make a big difference. Try it tomorrow. As you get dressed or brush your teeth, say each step in English. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. So now let's review quickly. You can say, I wake up at 7. I hit snooze. I get out of bed. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I get dressed. I make breakfast. I check my phone. That's already a great start. And if you can say these sentences, you can also ask others. What time do you wake up? Do you take a shower in the morning or at night? Now you're not just learning English. You're starting conversations. So tomorrow morning, talk to yourself. Describe each step of your routine, out loud, in English. It will feel strange at first, but it works. It really works. In the next chapter, we'll go from home to the next part of your day. Going out, going to work, or going to school. We'll learn how to talk about transport, times, and small things you do outside the house. But for now, just remember, your morning is a gift. It's the perfect time to practice English in a way that feels natural and real. Start small, be honest, use your real life. That's how we learn. Chapter 3. Breakfast time and getting to work school. So you're awake. You've brushed your teeth. Maybe you've had a quick shower. What's next? It's breakfast time. And after that, it's time to leave the house and start your day. This part of your daily routine is full of useful English. You might not realize it, but these few minutes, from kitchen to bus stop, are full of great language for beginners. Let's start with the basics. I eat breakfast. Simple, right? But think about all the ways you can change it. I eat breakfast at 8. I eat breakfast with my family. I eat toast and eggs. These are real things. You don't need to make it complicated. Just talk about what you do and what you eat. Some people say, I make coffee. Others say, I have tea. You can also say, I drink juice or I eat fruit. And if you're someone who doesn't eat in the morning, that's useful too. I skip breakfast. That's a natural way to say it. Not, I don't eat breakfast, but I skip breakfast. It sounds more like what native speakers say. Let me give you a few more natural expressions. I'm always in a rush in the morning. I just grab a coffee and go. I don't have time for breakfast. I eat on the way to work. These small expressions make your English sound more real. You're not just using correct grammar, you're using the language that people actually use every day. Now let's talk about leaving the house. You can say, I leave the house at 8. Easy. You can also say, I go to work, or I go to school. Again, very useful, very common, but you can make it more personal. I take the bus to work. I walk to school. I drive to the office. These are all small changes, but they make a big difference. You're not just saying what you do, you're saying how you do it. One student I had, his name was Min from Vietnam, always said, I take a coffee before work. I understood him, but I smiled. I said, in English, we don't say take a coffee. We say grab a coffee or have a coffee. He laughed and said, why? I take it with me. And he's right. It makes sense. But here's the thing. English is not always logical. Sometimes it's just about how people really talk. So, grab a coffee is more natural. We also say pick up a coffee or get a coffee, not take. It's a small detail, but it makes your English sound native. Min changed his sentence. Now he says, I grab a coffee on the way to work. And suddenly, it sounds like something you'd hear in London or New York. Same idea, just more natural. Let's talk about transportation. You can say, I take the bus. I take the train. I drive to work. I ride my bike. I walk to school. These are strong, useful verbs. You can also add details. My bus is always late. I listen to music on the train. I usually walk when the weather is nice. Again, all of this is about you. Real things, real habits. And that's why you'll remember them. And sometimes we don't talk about the journey. We talk about the feeling. My commute is long. The traffic is terrible. I hate waking up early. These are also part of your story. You can even say, I'm tired in the morning. That's honest English. That's how people really speak. If you want to make your English sound more alive, use small emotional words. I'm always in a rush. I never have time. I forget my keys almost every day. These things may seem small, but they connect you to the language because they're not from a textbook, they're from your life. So here's a quick morning story. Maria, one of my students from Spain, wanted to talk about her morning routine in class. She said, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast, I take a coffee, I go to job. It was clear, I understood her. But it didn't sound natural. I helped her fix just a few small things. We changed take a coffee to grab a coffee. We changed go to job to go to work. And we added some feeling. I usually grab a quick coffee because I'm always in a rush. That's it. Just those few changes. And now it sounds smooth, natural, and true to her. This is the goal. Not perfect grammar, not fancy words, just simple, natural English. That sounds like you. So now, take a moment and try it. Think about your breakfast. What do you eat? Do you skip it? Are you in a rush? How do you go to work or school? Say it out loud. Practice it every day. Make it real. Make it yours. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the middle of the day, what you do at work or school, how to talk about lunch, meetings, classes, and breaks. We'll keep building your routine, step by step, moment by moment. Because when you can describe your real life in English, you're not just learning, you're living in the language. Chapter 4. What you do at work or school, even if it's boring. So you've made it to work. Or maybe you're sitting in school. Maybe you're at home, learning online. Wherever you are during the day, the middle part of your daily routine is full of simple English you can use. And yes, maybe it feels boring. But here's the thing. Boring routines are actually the best way to practice speaking naturally. Why? Because they're real. You don't have to imagine, you already do them. Let's start simple. I start work at 9, or I start school at 8:30. This sentence is easy, but it's very useful. You can use it every day. You can also change it. I begin class at 10. I usually start work early. Sometimes I start late. These small changes, usually, sometimes, every day, are called adverbs of frequency. They don't need grammar rules. They just make your sentence better, stronger, more natural. You can say, I start work at 9, or you can say, I usually start work at 9. Just one word, and your English sounds more fluent. That's the power of small words. Now let's talk about what you do during the day. I check my emails. Very common. I write reports. I go to meetings. These are work tasks. If you're a student, maybe you say, I do my homework. I study English online. I read books. Even if your tasks are not exciting, they are useful. You can say, I answer phones. I help customers. I sit in front of my computer all day. That last one, I sit in front of my computer all day, is something I hear a lot. It's not a textbook sentence, but it's real, honest, and that's why people remember it. Let's add more structure. Use time markers. At 10 a.m., I have a team meeting. After lunch, I check my messages. In the afternoon, I feel tired. Before my next class, I take a break. Now your routine has shape. It has a timeline. You're not just saying, I work. You're saying when. You're saying how often. You're building a story. And the best part? You already know this story. It's your life. Let me tell you about one of my students. Her name is Fatima. She works in an office in Morocco. She once told me, "My work is boring. I do the same things every day." But I said, "That's perfect. Use it to practice English." So every morning, she wrote 5 simple sentences about her day. I check my emails. I speak to my manager. I prepare documents. I call a client. I have lunch at 1. After 1 month, she told me, "I don't need to think anymore. I can speak without translating in my head." That's because she wasn't just learning English. She was using it. Talking about her routine, even the boring parts, helped her speak more fluently. And here's the spike moment. The thing that makes a big difference. It's so small, but so powerful. Add adverbs. I check my emails becomes, I usually check my emails at 9. I sometimes forget to check my emails. I always check my emails after coffee. No grammar rules, no memorizing, just one word, and your sentence becomes better, more natural. The words are simple. Always, usually, sometimes, often, never. These are your new best friends. You can also use these phrases. Every day I, once a week I, in the morning I usually, after lunch I often. These phrases help you connect your thoughts. They are like glue. They hold your story together, and they help people understand you, because they make your routine clear and easy to follow. Now let's add some honesty. You can say, "I get tired in the afternoon," or "I drink too much coffee," or "I feel sleepy after lunch." These are true for many people, and they make your English more human. You don't have to sound perfect. You just have to sound real. So, take a moment now. Think about your school or your job. What do you do first? What happens after that? What do you always do? What do you never do? Speak it out loud. Even if no one is listening, speak it. Get used to your own voice in English. Because the goal here isn't just to learn words. The goal is to talk about your life, clearly, naturally, and with confidence. In the next chapter, we'll talk about lunch breaks, free time, and afternoon routines. These moments might feel simple, but they're full of great English to learn, so don't go anywhere. Chapter 5. Lunch and break time. Talk like a native. It's lunchtime. Finally, a break from work or school. But this moment in your day is also a great time to practice real, useful English, because food is everywhere. Everyone talks about lunch, and the words we use to describe it, they can be formal or very informal. And when you learn both, you start to sound more like a native speaker. Let's start simple. I take a lunch break. Or, I eat lunch at 1 p.m. These are good, basic sentences, clear and correct. You can also say, I eat with my colleagues, or I usually have rice or pasta. These are the kinds of phrases that describe your life, your real habits. And because you do them every day, they're easy to remember. That's the best kind of English. Now here comes the fun part. Native speakers don't always say, I eat lunch. That's okay, but a little formal. In daily life, we often say, I grab lunch, or I grab a bite. So you might hear someone say, let's grab some lunch. I usually grab a bite around noon. We grabbed pizza yesterday. These phrases are not in your textbook, but they are everywhere in real life. Grab doesn't mean you are catching your food with your hands. Don't worry, It's just an informal way to say get or eat quickly. So if you say, I grab a sandwich during my break, you sound more fluent, more natural, like someone who really uses English. Let me tell you a story. One of my students, her name is Aiko, came to class one day laughing. She had gone out with her English-speaking friend for lunch, and she wanted to tell me about it. She said, "Yesterday, I eat my friend." Now she meant, I ate with my friend. But just one little word, with, changed the meaning. Everyone laughed. Not to make fun of her, but because it was such a cute mistake. And Aiko laughed too. She never made that mistake again. That's the beauty of learning. Mistakes are not bad. They help you remember. I always tell my students, if you make a funny mistake, it's good. It means your brain will never forget that word again. Now let's look at some more ways to talk about lunch. I usually eat in the cafeteria. Sometimes I bring my lunch from home. I eat with my coworkers. I take a short walk after lunch. You can add more personal details. For example, I love spicy food, so I usually bring curry. I don't like to cook, so I order food online. My friend and I go out for lunch every Friday. These sentences are simple, but they say something about you. That's what makes them strong. Real language, real life. Let's also talk about break time. In English, we often say, I take a coffee break. I need a short break. Let's take 5. That means, let's rest for 5 minutes. And here's another phrase you might hear. Let's grab a coffee. Again, the word grab comes back. It's fast, casual. It sounds like something a native speaker would say. By now, you're probably starting to feel more comfortable with English. You've learned how to describe your morning. You've talked about getting to work or school. You've learned how to describe boring tasks and make them interesting. And now, you can talk about one of the best parts of the day, lunch. Remember, you don't need to say something amazing. You just need to say something true. Say it clearly. Say it naturally. And say it every day. That's how you build confidence. That's how English becomes your habit. So, before we move on, take a moment. Think about your lunch today. What did you eat? Where did you eat? Who did you eat with? Try to speak your answers out loud. Just 3 or 4 simple sentences. You can even write them down. These are your building blocks. They will grow your fluency. Next, we'll move into the afternoon, the last part of the workday or school day. What do you do when the energy starts to go down? What are some good phrases for meetings, classes, or just getting tired? We'll cover all of that in Chapter 6. And trust me, it's full of fun little tricks. Let's keep going. You're doing great. Chapter 6. Afternoons and finishing the day. After lunch, the day starts to slow down. But in English, this part of your routine is still full of useful words. You've learned to talk about your morning. You've learned what to say about lunch and breaks. Now, let's move into the afternoon and how to finish your day in English, clearly and naturally. Let's start with some simple actions. I finish work at 5. I leave the office at 5:30. I come home around 6. These are short, simple sentences, and they are very common. Almost everyone talks about the end of their workday or school day. When you can describe this part of your day, you can start to have real conversations. Here are more examples. I pick up my kids from school. I take the train home. I stop at the store. I go shopping after work. These phrases are real, everyday English. You probably do some of these things already. Now you can say them in English. But it's not just about what you do. It's also about how you feel. After work or school, most people feel tired. So you can say, I feel tired after work. I relax on the sofa. I take a nap. I need a break. I watch TV to relax. These kinds of phrases are easy to understand. They are also easy to use, and they help you describe your real experience, not just your schedule, but your life. This is where we introduce something powerful, connecting words. These are small words, but they are very useful. Then, after that, later. These words help you tell your story, not just one sentence, but a whole paragraph. For example, I finish work at 5, then I go shopping. After that, I go home. Later, I eat dinner and relax. Can you see how it all comes together? These small words help your English flow. Your sentences connect. It sounds more natural, and you sound more confident. Now, here comes the spike moment, a fun challenge. I want to show you how to tell your whole afternoon story using just 6 words. Yes, just 6. Let's try it. Work, shop, home, tired, TV, sleep. These are not full sentences, but even with only these 6 words, a listener can guess your routine. You worked, then shopped, came home, felt tired, watched TV, and went to sleep. Now let's build it up from there. I finish work at 5. Then I go shopping. I come home around 6. I feel tired, so I relax. I usually watch TV in the evening. Look how easy it is to grow your story. You don't need big grammar. You just need small words in the right order. Step by step. That's how fluency begins. Let's try one more short story, using all the parts we've learned. I leave work at 5. After that, I take the train. I get home at 6. I feel tired, so I sit down and watch a movie. Later, I cook dinner, then I clean up and relax with a book. This is a simple paragraph, but it sounds like something a native speaker would say. That's because we are not trying to speak perfect English. We are trying to speak real English, the kind you can use every day. Let's review a few more useful phrases you can try. I check my phone when I get home. I walk my dog in the evening. Sometimes I meet friends after work. I make dinner around 7 p.m. I like to rest before dinner. All of these are great ways to describe your routine, and the more you say them, the more automatic they become. Now here's a small tip. Don't just repeat these sentences once. Repeat them again and again. Try changing the subject. I come home. She comes home. We come home late. Just by changing the subject, you practice grammar without even thinking about it. That's how children learn. That's how you can learn too. So at this point in the video, you've learned a lot. You've talked about waking up, getting ready, eating breakfast, going to work or school, having lunch, and finishing the day. And now you've also learned how to link ideas together, to build a short story about your day. The next part of your day, evening, dinner, family time, maybe a little fun, or maybe some quiet time before bed. We'll cover all of that in Chapter 7 and show you how to talk about your evenings like a native. You're doing great. Don't stop now. Keep going, and soon you'll be able to describe your whole day in English, from morning to night. Chapter 7: Evening Routine and Free Time. The sun goes down. The day is almost over, but this part, the evening, might be the most important part of your day. Why? Because it's the time when you're free. It's not work. It's not school. It's your time. And in English, you can learn to talk about this time in a way that shows who you really are. Let's start with simple phrases. You probably know these already. I cook dinner. I eat with my family. I watch a movie. I read a book. These are great. But now let's go a little deeper. Not harder, just deeper. Here's the thing. English is not only about grammar. It's also about feeling. And in the evening, we often feel more. Maybe we feel tired. Maybe we feel happy to be with our family. Maybe we feel calm. Or maybe we feel busy. So how can we say that in English? I'm so tired after work. I really enjoy cooking. I love watching movies. I usually read before bed. Do you see what's happening here? We're not only saying what we do, we're saying how we feel about it. Let's look at two versions of the same routine. First, the basic version, I eat dinner. I watch TV. I go to bed. This is okay. It's correct. But now listen to this. After work, I usually cook something simple. Maybe rice and vegetables. I'm often tired, so I like to relax with a funny TV show. Around 10 p.m., I get ready for bed. It's the same story, but the second one sounds alive. It has feeling. It has rhythm. It has words like usually, simple, often, relax, funny. These small words make a big difference. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need real words, words that show your life. Let's practice using usually. This word helps you build fluency because it gives your listener more information. I usually eat dinner at 7. I usually call my parents in the evening. I usually take a walk after dinner. Even if you only change one word in your sentence, like usually, you sound more fluent. It's like adding salt to a dish. Small, but powerful. Let me tell you a quick story. One of my students, her name is Anna, told me she couldn't speak English well. She said, I only know a few verbs. So I asked her, tell me about your evening. She said, I eat. I sleep. That's it. I said, let's try again. Tell me what you usually do after work. And she said, I usually cook dinner for my kids. I'm tired, but I try to make something nice. We eat together and talk about our day. Then I help my children with homework. After that, I watch a little TV, just to relax. I usually go to bed around 11 p.m. She looked at me, surprised. Did I just say all that? Yes, she did. The words were not difficult, but the meaning was full. Her routine wasn't just a list of actions. It was her life. And when she used English to tell her story, she felt proud. That's what I want for you too. Let's look at more helpful phrases for evening time. I take a walk after dinner. I clean up the kitchen. I call my mom before bed. I write in my journal. I listen to music to relax. You don't have to say all of these. Just pick the ones that match your life and then say them every day. Build your story, one sentence at a time. Here's a quick trick. At the end of your day, take 30 seconds to say your evening routine in English, out loud, even if no one is listening. Just say it. I ate dinner. I cleaned up. I watched a movie. I felt relaxed. Now I'm going to bed. You don't need a textbook. You just need your real life. Remember, when you talk about your day, you're not just practicing English. You're learning how to tell your story. That story matters. And the more you tell it, the more natural it becomes. You've now learned how to describe your morning, your work, your lunch, your afternoon, and now your evening and your free time. Only one part left: how to talk about bedtime and the end of your day. So let's keep going. In Chapter 8, I'll show you how to finish your routine in English with calm, confidence, and clear speech. Chapter 8: Night Routine, Final Review, and Practice Plan. The day is coming to an end. You've done the hard work at your job, at school, or maybe just learning English. Now it's time to slow down. This chapter is all about your night routine and putting everything together. If you've been watching from the start, now is your moment. You are ready. Let's begin with some simple, useful phrases for the night. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I put on my pajamas. I set my alarm. I go to bed at 11. You can change that last one to fit your own schedule. I go to bed at 10. I go to bed late. Or even, I stay up too late. These are small sentences, but they are powerful because they are about you. Now let's try to build a full short story using all parts of the day: morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Let me tell you about a student of mine. Her name is Juna. When Juna started learning English, she could only say hello and goodbye. She was shy. She always said, "My English is bad." But I asked her to do one small thing. Every night before bed, speak 5 sentences about her day. She didn't write. She didn't look at grammar books. She just spoke. 1 month later, she surprised herself. Here's what she said. I'll never forget it. I wake up at 7. I take a shower and get ready for work. I eat toast and drink tea. I go to work and answer emails. At night, I cook dinner and watch a movie. I feel tired, so I go to bed at 10. That's it. That's her real day, in clear, correct English. And you can do the same, right now. Let's do a small review. I'll ask questions. Pause the video after each question and try to answer in English, even if it's just one sentence. What time do you wake up? What do you do after you get up? What do you eat for breakfast? How do you go to work or school? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do after dinner? What time do you go to bed? You don't need long answers. Even simple ones are great. I wake up at 6. I brush my teeth and get dressed. I eat rice and eggs. I take the bus. I work until 5. I cook dinner and watch TV. I go to bed at 11. Now it's your turn. I want you to write your own daily routine in just 5 lines. That's it. 5 lines. Keep it easy. Use the phrases from the video. Say what you really do, not what sounds fancy. This is about real English, for real life. Here's an example from one of my newest students. I wake up at 6 and take a shower. I eat cereal and go to school. I study until 2 and then I go home. In the evening, I play video games or talk to my friends. At 10 p.m., I brush my teeth and go to bed. Simple, natural, clear. That's what we want. You've now learned how to talk about your full day, from waking up in the morning to brushing your teeth at night. You've learned useful words, sentence patterns, and natural expressions. But more than that, you've learned that you can speak English, even if you're a beginner. And here's your practice plan. Every day, say 5 lines about your routine. Out loud. Use simple English. Don't worry about mistakes. Change it sometimes. Try new words from this video. After a week, make it 10 lines. After a month, you'll be telling full stories, and you will feel confident. Now, let's finish this video with one final step and one little request. If this video helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That tells me you want more videos like this, more videos that help real learners talk about real life in English. And in the comments, write your daily routine in 3 to 5 lines. I'll read them. I'll reply to as many as I can. Let's build this learning community together. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need perfect grammar, you just need the courage to speak. See you next time. Now it's your turn. Write your daily routine in the comments below. Just 5 simple sentences. I'll read them and give you feedback. If this video helped you, please like it. Share it with someone who's learning English, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I make videos like this every week to help you learn English the easy and natural way. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.